everybody, I'm Lara Trump coming to you from Studio 45 at Trump Tower in New York City. President Trump promised to replace NAFTA, and he did it. The US-Mexico-Canada agreement is another big win for hardworking Americans everywhere. Joining me in Studio 45 to discuss this new jobs-creating trade deal is a capital markets advisor and media commentator, Jason Meister. Jason, thanks for joining us here in our studio. We're glad to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So explain to me a little bit about this US-Mexico-Canada agreement. What is it? What does it mean?
Sure. So this is an agreement that basically the president is putting America jobs first, okay? Specifically the automobile industry, U.S. dairy farmers, and the labor market in general. And so this deal is a deal that's going to put America first. It's another campaign promise that's kept.
So everybody said this was impossible. You're not going to change NAFTA. Don't even bother. How did the president pull this off?
So this is really the difference, Laura, between a influence peddling community organizer and a successful businessman. I mean, this really truly is the art of the deal. The president really just went against all of the naysayers, and he made a tremendous deal for Americans and American workers. For example, we now have an automobile industry that's going to make all of their parts, 75% of their parts, in the U.S., Mexico, or Canada. And of that 75%, about 45% of those working on those products are going to be getting paid at a $16 wage hour. Wow. So this is really a big boon for the American worker.
Yeah, very significant for jobs in the U.S., right?
That's right. We're bringing jobs back home. And what I think is unbelievable about this deal is that unlike career politicians for decades who made a deal in 1994 and didn't really revisit it until now, we're going to have every 6 years we're going to relook at this deal and renegotiate it, because President Trump understands that the world is changing at a rapid pace, right, and the deal you make today isn't the deal that should be made 6 years from now. And so we're going to reevaluate it.
I love Jason coming to a time like this where the president has just achieved something that people said was not possible. They said anything over 3% growth, remember, was not possible.
And now we're at 5%.
Almost 5%. It's amazing. But what I think people fail to remember is that this man was a businessman. He is so good at negotiating. Some call him the negotiator in chief. I think that this is just another example of why the president, in my opinion, is going to win again in 2020. And I think that it actually scares the Democrats so much when they see him pull something like this off, because again, nobody said it was possible, right?
No one said it's possible. And the Democrats run on the American worker. So if they vote against this, they're going to lose big time. I mean, this is an unbelievable deal for American workers. So I totally agree. In 2020, this is going to really be fruitful for us.
Well, I certainly hope so. Now, something else that the president has been working on, and really since day one, China. What do you think is going to happen with China? Tell us what's happening there right now, because we don't hear about it in the mainstream media, but a lot is going on with China right now.
A lot's going on. I think what this deal that was just struck, I think that China is watching, and I think as they watch, they're going to realize that this is tremendous momentum for President Trump in negotiating with China and the rest of the world, frankly. And so, with a big success and a big win against all the naysayers, I think it's going to reset the table for that negotiation, and it's going to put us at a huge advantage.
And China's economy right now really isn't doing well, right?
No, it's not, and I think that that's also going to help us, is that we're finally negotiating from a position of strength rather than weakness. The globalists, for decades, they just gave away everything, and President Trump is saying, no, it's time to put America first, and it's time to negotiate from a power position and from a strength position. And you know what? And sometimes we have to walk away from a deal to then come back and make a deal. So as a real estate entrepreneur in New York City, I can tell you that you have to walk away from deals once in a while to actually get things done.
And he's not scared to do that. Actually, I think his tactics with this US-Mexico-Canada deal were really interesting, because we heard the media saying, well, he kind of snubbed, Canada's prime minister. Maybe they weren't getting along, and right, how's it going with Mexico? But he really understands how to deal with people. He's dealt with people as a businessman, again,
right,
his whole life.
This is why he was elected.
And he reads people.
He reads people, and what the media will make lots of noise. They'll editorialize everything against the president. But this president understands how to negotiate deals. He understands how to read people and understands the situation, and he's doing a great job.
He is doing a great job. So great, in fact, that the economy is booming. We had the great tax cuts. We've seen these trade deals go through. This is really impacting our economy and the American worker, right? We've seen finally wages start to rise for the first time in a long time. What's happening with the economy in the country right now?
So we have, I think, jobless claims are now at a 50-year low. Actually, specifically, Black and Hispanic unemployment is at record lows.
Right.
We have wage growth for the first time since, I think, January of 2009. We have a GDP that's approaching 5%. So this economy is roaring, and I think we're on the beginning of an economic boom.
Jason, we have very important midterm elections coming up. Everybody has seen what the president's done for the economy since he's been in office. We see these great trade deals happening. What is your message for people out there about the importance of voting in the midterm elections?
It's incredibly important, Lara, for all the voters to come out and vote in the midterms. We need to preserve all the successes that this administration has made, and we really are risking, if we don't come out and vote, that everything we've accomplished is reversed by the Democrats.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly important.
Well, they've said that they're going to take away the tax cuts, first of all.
Right.
They've been very upfront with that. And I think that when you talk about giving them control of things and the regulations that they put into place before the president was in office, all those things were stifling our economy.
Right.
We could see a full reversal of everything this president has worked so hard for if the Democrats get control of things. I always tell people, if you're happy with the way this country has gone since President Trump took office, you have to get out and vote in the midterm elections. It's the absolute most important thing you can do.
It's the most important thing, and I see a tremendous amount of enthusiasm among Trump supporters and the Trump's base, because if you look at these rallies, the numbers of folks that are coming out are even greater than 2016. So I think that there's just such a momentum among those supporters and voters, because he really is following through on all his promises.
Yeah. And what I like to say to people is, if you like this kind of trade deal, if you like the tax cuts, if you're happy with the direction that this country has been going in since Donald Trump took office, you have to get out and vote in the midterm elections. Traditionally, only about 30% of the voters in this country turn out for midterms. We have to get everybody out and vote, because the Democrats have said they will take the tax cuts away.
Right.
That could be really detrimental to our economy. I mean, we could be talking about some sort of a crash of the economy.
It could be devastating.
Right. It could be horrible. So I really always try and encourage people, get out in November, vote in these midterm elections, vote for Trump-supporting Republicans, because if you don't, the consequences could be really, really awful for our economy. And as we're seeing everything, encouraging and rising, wages rising right now, unemployment so low, that could all be turned around if the Democrats get control of the House and
Right.
Senate.
Everything we've accomplished, administration has accomplished, is at jeopardy. So
Yeah.
we need to come out and vote to preserve those successes and those wins, and to keep this country great, and to continue to make progress, and the economy and all the jobs that are coming back to this country. So we really need to preserve that.
Got to get out and vote. It's so important. Jason, thank you for joining us today. We're happy to have you in studio, and
Thanks for
hope you come back soon.
Thank you.
They said it couldn't be done, but President Trump actually replaced NAFTA. There's no stopping him now, so long as everyone gets out and votes for the GOP candidates in the midterm elections. That's the real news for today. I'm Lara Trump from Studio 45 at Trump Tower in New York City. Goodbye, everybody.